gonna flop, my mind's about to pop. But enough of that noise, time for the B-roll, boys.
Hey, welcome back to another roaring episode of B-roll, boys. I'm your host for this evening. My name's Harlan.
Hi, Harlan. I'm tired.
And with me, I've got Tired. And also...
What's up, Harlan? I'm full of energy, roaring to go.
Wes.
And my name is Wes.
And we just watched 1987's Jaws: The Revenge, which is widely regarded as one of the worst movies of all time. And we were pretty bored.
It falls off my, if something is really horrible, usually I'm kind of excited about it. Mm-hmm. This is so horrible, I was bored. This is, I'd think, second to Justice League of, the most boring thing we've watched.
Well,
I was legitimately falling asleep in the last 20 minutes or so.
Right off the bat, to, put it in perspective, whereas, I think the first Jaws movie, the IMDb, I think, said had the first Jaws movie had a body count of, 22. This movie has a body count of 2. Not a lot happens in this movie.
It's not even horrible or really bad. It's just so fucking boring and nothing happens that it's bad. You know?
I think the bad parts are entertaining enough to be funny, but they're just very few and far between. You know,
the premise itself just doesn't lend it. I don't understand why there are sequels to Jaws.
Well, you're right about that, and I agree. But let's talk about the specific premise of this movie in particular. Right?
I mean, this one's dumber than fuck.
Because this movie, the subtitle is The Revenge, right? So the premise of this movie, for those unaware, is the main character from the first movie, Adrian, right? Is that his name?
No, that's the first one.
Yeah. That's what
from the first. Yeah.
So he it's been a few years since the events of the first movie. He has passed away, but I guess the relative of the shark that he killed wants revenge, and so it is seeking out Adrian's family members to pick them off one by one,
a blood feud,
and kill them.
A blood feud with the Brodies.
Wants to kill all of Adrian's heirs.
Yeah, and
Brode feud, if you will.
And at one point, his widow, whose name I can't remember, who's the main character of this movie. She says, they mentioned that Adrian died of a heart attack at some point, and she's like, it wasn't a heart attack, it was the fear that killed him. The fear killed him. And you'd think he'd be the least scared person of a shark if he killed one.
He lost the will to live. He died of a broken heart.
He died in childbirth.
Yeah. So we've got that kind of thing going on. This movie introduces a weird, almost supernatural element, because the shark has, some sort of psychic connection with the Brodies. Because, the movie starts out, and they're in, I think it was, northeastern America, And they take a trip to the Bahamas, and the shark follows them all the way to the Bahamas.
Yeah, he has a psychic link with the main character.
Yeah, there are points in the movie where she's miles away from shore.
She feels a disturbance in the forest.
And yeah, she's nowhere near the beach, and she just stops and just gets a blank look on her face, and the way it's cut together, the movie is clearly implying that she can sense the shark doing something.
It's so
she has
dumb.
Psychic fever dreams through the whole movie, and we can only assume that the shark does too. Maybe they both have nightmares of each other.
There are two separate dream sequences where a character gets ate, and then they wake up from their dream and they're like, oh! And we can only assume that the shark is just in its shark sleeping state, and it's just yum in its dream.
There's more dream sequences about the shark and sex scenes than there are actual shark kills.
Oh yeah, this movie was
even
thirsty.
Counting the two fake outs at the end, where it doesn't really kill the two other characters.
Yeah,
Jake and Hoagie.
Hoagie.
Played by Michael Caine. Yeah. He's the only palatable part of this movie. Everything else I found to be absolutely putrid, but I thought he was kind of charming.
At least we found our based Aragorn for this movie.
What is it about him that makes him the most entertaining character? Because
just because he's the only good actor, I guess.
Well, he's their pilot. It's unclear how they know each other, or because we thought they were going on vacation to the Bahamas, but then it seems like
the son just lives there.
Yeah, it seems like he
works
there.
Snails.
Yeah, he does
the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, he dives and collects large snails.
Yeah, they don't really get into it, but his brother gets killed by a shark just in a lake, right?
Yeah, like that's like at the very beginning of the movie. Like his brother gets his arm ripped off by a shark. The shark, I should say, not a shark.
Yeah.
The shark.
Yeah, it's the shark.
And we're probably talking through it or something, but I assume he went up there, like for the funeral, and then he's like, "Yeah, come back to the Bahamas. It'll be great. You know, you want to be around more water."
Oh, yeah,
she
the
makes
widow
a point.
Wants nothing to do with the water, and she's like, "Oh, I never want to go near the water again." And so then they go to the Bahamas. Like, move to fucking Kansas, dude.
Yeah, like she makes a point to sit. She's like asking him at one point. She's like, "Please, like stop your work. Like don't go near the water ever again." And somehow that ends up being, I go with you back to the Bahamas.
Like
and
we're nowhere close to the water. Come move here.
Yeah.
It is not even just like the Bahamas. They're on like their own small private island, completely surrounded by water.
Yeah, there's like nothing around. Like it's like a really shitty Airbnb. Like it's a real shit
It looks like a slum. It looks like it's in Far Cry.
Yeah.
This movie also started with a farce, considering this is the first episode of our B-roll summer summer
Set
series.
during fucking
This whole thing
Christmas.
completely takes place during Christmas.
No,
Harlan.
but it's at the beach. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah,
cool.
when they
But
get
no,
to the
yeah,
Bahamas a half an hour in.
That's my bad. I'd never actually seen this movie. This is actually my first Jaws movie. Maybe I think I might have seen the first one when I was really young. I can't say for sure.
I can't
I
believe
really
this is your
think you
first
should.
Jaws movie.
You really should see the first one. I've never seen. So I'm going to spoil the plot. The extremely important plot
sure,
of
yeah.
Jaws for you is that the plot of the first Jaws can be summarized as a big shark and then a couple guys go out in the ocean and kill it. I never understood why that premise was interesting or novel enough to where it spawned so many sequels. Aren't there more after these, or am I wrong?
I don't think so.
Jaws 3D or something.
No, that was the third
just
one.
3. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think this is
So
the
it's
last
only
one.
so only 4 based off of like the most. I mean, the plot of Jaws is not what makes it good. It's about the characters and the directing.
Yeah,
and,
it's
like,
the
I don't, like,
characters and the filmmaking.
You know
of it.
they're gonna win, but it's an interesting enough movie, and that really, the first movie really did start a whole new era of film, the era that we're currently in, of like modern blockbusters. That was a hard dividing line.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never understood why that was considered interesting enough to spawn 3 fucking sequels, especially with this, where the best parts of it are where they call back in atrocious sepia tone to the first movie.
Yeah, just like straight up like reused footage from the first movie.
They're not
Yeah.
confident enough in the movie by itself. They have to constantly refer back to like something that's way better.
And that would be fine for like when they're talking about like the characters from that movie, but no, it's even like the action beats. Like the very climax of the movie when they kill the shot is they just cut back to the first movie, him being like, "Smile, you son of a bitch."
Yeah, so much so that you can't even really tell what happened in this movie.
We were so confused. Like I'm really unclear on what killed the shark, because it's like they like build like a transceiver or something, and they like, I think they feed it to the shark, right? And then they like have this other thing that like flashes a light.
I think it's supposed to send like a pulse or some kind of signal for it to release a frequency that the shark doesn't like, kind of like one of those mosquito plug-in things.
I guess.
And for some reason, then they run the boat into the shark, and the shark explodes.
That's the confusing part to me. Yeah, it's like, and it all happens really fast, and they cut out like most of the frames of it. Like it's like a PowerPoint, you know.
We keep cutting back to the first movie, and then it's like, okay, well, we know it in the first movie, Harlan. So they basically stick like a compressed air tank in its mouth, and then
the dude shoots
shoot
it.
it.
yeah, Adrian's sinking in his boat, and he's got a rifle, and he shoots the tank. That's it. So that makes logical sense. This
Yeah, that's
doesn't make
super clear.
logical sense.
No, this is like a far cry.
And the only reason that they're out there is because I guess like, you know, Mama Brody sees red and is going out on this boat alone that's not hers to fight a shark with no weapons, no technology, no
was the
crew
plan?
or anything. And then these other 3 dildos decide to roll in with their plane, sink a plane, and then get onto an actual sinking ship.
What if she meant to converse with him? Like to meet with the shark for like
Well, it seems
some
like
kind
she
of some aggressive negotiations.
gonna be
It
like
doesn't
a-
seem like she even needed to be physically near it. She could have just like touched her fingers to her temple and then like had some sort of, you know, conversation with the shark.
We had some Harry Potter telepathy here. I know you don't
Yeah.
like Harry Potter, but there's a big beat in those stories where like
No, yeah,
Harry is
I'm
connected
familiar.
to the main bad guy.
No, yeah.
And it's very much like that.
And
honestly.
if they were gonna pull in some stupid supernatural shit like that, they should have went full on into
yeah,
it.
not this like pussyfooting around, because this was weak as fuck.
Yeah, because when a sequel always cuts back to the first one, it's like they're not confident enough in it on its own.
Yeah.
They have
gotta
to
be
keep
like, hey,
going
remember this
back.
better thing?
But you know what would have made
This
it great
classic?
is if it was just a full-on supernatural thriller.
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed it.
Or it could have been like absurdly violent, and it's not really. And the first movie's not super violent, but again, that wasn't the point.
Yeah.
At least not in terms of like Rambo level of gore. I mean, the first one it's fucked up because you get to see like a kid die. So
That was cool.
In here, I don't think any kids die.
No, yeah.
Damn shame.
The granddaughter of the main character almost gets swiped, and that's what leads her to like, take the boat out into the ocean by herself. Is like, yeah, the shark shows up at the beach party and like snags this random chick. I think it was just a random chick off a tube.
Yeah.
And then yeah, she's like, she almost got Thea, and then she just like seemingly hijacks a boat. Yeah, and then goes out by herself.
Commandeers.
Commandeers, yes.
Pirates of the Caribbean taught me that.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
There we go.
And
Shanghai even.
yeah, she's like, I'm commandeering this boat on official shark telepathy business.
Out of the way, officer! I have a blood feud to fuel.
Yeah, and again, like, I'm really not clear on what the plan was, because she didn't do anything, and yeah, they just kind of ram into the shark and it explodes, I think. Super confusing.
I don't know how it exploded.
There's a lot of, like, technical shit that makes it really hard to understand what's happening in this movie for, like, the very few, like, action beats that there are, Like
Yeah.
when he's being like chased, when the son is being chased, he's diving for like snails or whatever, and the shark shows up and starts chasing him, and he like runs and hides, or he swims and hides, I should say, in this like sunken ship, and it's very crowded, and I'm like, okay, well this is good, like he's far ahead, and clearly there's not enough room in there for the shark to like turn around, and sharks can't swim backwards, so he should be good. And he goes up like a hole in the ceiling of the boat, and then the shark's just right behind him. I'm like, what the fuck? How did it get there?
The shark's pretty malleable.
Yeah,
It's like it just fit in that fucking boat.
yeah,
I guess another big thing I have about this movie is just the entire premise is so preventable that I don't understand where the stakes come from. So I think the idea is that, this guy enjoys his job of collecting snails. But there's just so many things that they can do to have that not be the case. You can either go to another part of the country or part of the world, or if they know after the first couple trips where he gets attacked and only he gets it, he meaning the son of Adrian Brody. Okay. What was his name? Michael. Michael goes out on this
not
boat.
Jake.
Jake's the other guy with the dreads. But no, they go out multiple times, and Michael specifically gets targeted multiple times, and they always have like these dinky harpoons and like little spears and just like stupid shit. It looks like they're poking him with coat hangers. Like, why not have a fucking buckshot?
Yeah.
Why not have anything? At least they had a gun in the first movie.
And to circle back to like the revenge element of it, like when the shark antagonizes him, they make a point to say Jake was in the water by himself, and he makes a point to say the shark went right past me and went straight for what's his name, Michael.
Yeah, that's another thing that makes this one preventable compared to the others. Like, at least the first Jaws, there was a purpose. It was terrorizing like a beach, like a public beach that got to take care of the shark.
And that's its whole business, is like it was a big tourism city, so like the beach is the reason that they have any sort of commerce.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in this one, they know it's specifically targeting him, so they could just not go in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I guess I'll go work at Denny's. Fuck it.
Yeah, we discussed briefly with this movie's logic. I guess if they moved to middle America, the shark would just somehow
Just
burrow through the earth and reach them.
Yeah, it change its own biology and become a freshwater animal. It's
We need a Jaws like Tremors movie.
yeah, I'd fuck with that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I don't get it. All of this is so preventable just by in the most basic of logic
Yeah.
that you throw at it.
Ooh, also, fucking the very beginning of the movie, another one of those technical things that just bugged me. The opening credits are a POV shot of the shark, but it's above the water. The shark spends a lot of time with just its head above the water, just seemingly just looking around, but sharks don't do that.
Yeah, it always clearly looks like whenever they show the shark that it's like propped up on something, like
Yeah.
some kind of rail or
Yeah,
something.
like at the end of the movie,
it's just so unnatural every time you see it.
at the end of the movie, when they're about to kill a shark, it seemingly like sits in place with its head above water, and I'm like, how is it just sitting in place? Sharks like have to be moving. That's not.
Because I mean,
Oh, and also it roars.
literally.
like they're like like hitting the button on the transmitter or whatever to like fuck with the shark, and yeah, it like clearly doesn't like it because it like sticks its head above the water and goes.
It's like it was as jarring as when it happened in Anaconda when the snake started roaring.
That like wild boar yells.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, listeners. Sharks can't roar. That's not a thing.
Nope. And the shark looks fucking bad.
And they show it a lot.
Absolutely atrocious.
Yeah,
They show
like-
it a lot. It's like I said, I can't remember if I've actually seen the first movie, but it's my understanding that a part of what made it so tense and scary was that the shark doesn't. They make a point to hide the shark a lot, or you only
Yeah.
get like brief looks at it,
This
But
one has like 10 times the screen time
Yeah.
of the shark, but
And it
that's
looks
not
worse.
always a good thing.
Yeah.
It also
Because
just looks
fucking
worse.
horrible.
Like I know it's kind of a meme that the original Jaws shark looks terrible, but like and yes, it doesn't look good. But I don't think it looks bad enough to where you can't have that be like the crux of the movie, which it
Yeah.
is. You also I don't even think you see the shark at all until about halfway through, because again, you're trying to weave this narrative with the characters, which I mean, maybe this is just a bias, or you could just say, well, you only paid attention more to it because that one's considered a classic, so you were trying to like it more. But I don't know, the character drama in the first one just made a lot more sense than this, and
feels
the
more
first one also
engaging.
gets going a lot quicker. Like that little kid dies within the first like 3 minutes of the other one.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah,
and this drags fucking ass for a 92-minute movie.
And then only 2 people die. There's not even a beach massacre scene.
Well, yeah, like
Yeah,
the first,
nothing.
the first death is like only a few minutes into the movie, and you're like, all right, like it's like 5 minutes in, I think, and like
Because his brother dies pretty quick.
yeah, and you're like, all right, cool, like
It's Christmas, nice in summertime.
That's like okay, that's a relatively quick death, like 5 minutes into the movie, that's not too bad. But then like this movie insists on spending a lot of time on this romance between Michael Caine and the main character, and I don't know who thought we wanted to see a blossoming romance between senior citizens in a summer blockbuster movie.
Me, because that's the only reason
Yeah.
we can see Michael Caine. He's the only good part of this.
He's a really irresponsible pilot. Like, they're flying, and he's just like, he puts the kid in his lap and lets her fly the plane, and they're like, wee! And he's like doing like,
Yeah, he's
fucking
like,
roller-
watch this, and he lets go of the wheel and it starts nosediving.
Try spinning, that's a good trick.
Yeah, it's really irresponsible, but it was funny. So.
Yeah.
And he's just got like his velvety smooth voice through the whole thing, so it's like, okay, I've got something to like.
Try not to kill us, dear.
Oh yeah.
Batman.
I love Michael Caine's backlog of movies when he's billed like 6th in Jaws 4. That was a low point.
I mean, that was like 40 years ago, so whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Michael Caine was just out there laying pipe. I guess
Yeah,
when he
he was
invited his
getting it.
mom to come visit him in the Bahamas,
He knew.
yeah, he's like,
I know a guy that wants to fuck my mom.
yeah, can you fuck my mom, please?
Michael Caine, will you be my new dad?
then
Oh,
there's
that was the whole plot,
And there's
really.
this ridiculous scene where like the mother is talking to the daughter-in-law about their sex life, or like about their sex lives. It's like, isn't that about your kid? And also she keeps like a little fucking teenager, this older woman keeps going on about, why would he choose me? I don't know why he would like me. I don't know. Like, do you need like a definitive reason, and maybe let
Do you
the
need, like, a
guy get
pros
his
and
rocks
con-
off?
Do you need a pro and con list?
He's fucking Michael Caine.
You have to have a scientific decision weighted about how much you just like this random tourist.
I like to think that Michael set up Hoagie and the main character because he was trying to trick the shark into thinking that Hoagie was his dad all along. And so he would, take his revenge on Hoagie, and then the shark would be satisfied.
It's like a fall
Oh
guy.
shit,
It
dude!
was a red herring.
This whole thing is
Patsy.
actually a lot more deeper than we originally thought.
Sure.
That's some introspective
Man,
shit, Harlan.
it's really amazing. Just based off the simple premise of the shark following them to get revenge, it has to be one of the most ridiculous movies I've ever heard of. It's quite an accomplishment.
Ridiculous, but like in the most boring way.
Yeah, because
And then
ridiculous
nothing
can
ever
be
really
fun,
comes
right.
of it.
Yeah.
It's not zany enough to be interesting. I didn't see the other
Well,
Jaws sequels.
No, yeah,
but-
this movie takes itself really seriously. Like, there's a lot of like somber moments, where this movie wants me to be like invested in what's going on, and I'm like, it's literally about a shark getting revenge. Like, this is the stupidest thing. You want me to take this seriously? Like, no.
Well, and it's even more boring to think, like, if the shark wasn't there, all they would be doing is collecting snails. Like, every aspect you look at this is
Just collecting snails and getting high on a shitty little boat.
Or what if they took a plane? Okay, so I think they were in like northeastern United States. What if instead of going to the Bahamas, they took a plane to like California, and then the shark would have to travel like either all the way down and then through a canal through Latin America, or it would have to travel all the way around the world.
Yeah, it's like It Follows. They constantly have to run away from
Yeah, what if they went to like northern Canada and it tracks them all the way up there?
Yeah, they see it like under the ice, like trying to like poke up through it.
Dude, that would have been the thing to do, because like killer whales, like orcas, they fuck with like great white sharks, don't they? If they like come near them.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so that'd be the thing to do.
Actually, yeah.
Is the Jaws shark a kaiju?
Yeah. The main characters of Jaws can incite a race war between sharks and whales.
It'd be like the climax of Halo 2. But the most boring possible way. God, this was so boring. I really legitimately hated this.
Well, we spent a lot of time just talking about other shit. Like,
But the subtitles were on. We knew we weren't missing
trying.
anything.
I was
No, yeah,
actively
like-
trying to like tune. Sometimes I was tuning you guys out to watch, and I was just like, I can't, man. This is too shitty. This is too stupid and boring.
no, yeah, like Wes said, yeah, we had the subtitles on, and like I made a point to like be like, am I missing anything important? And they were literally just talking about nothing.
It moves at an absolute snail's pace.
Yeah, like for an hour and a half, and you like I get the feeling that in addition to like just feeding me member berries about the first movie, you know, like they were also they were doing everything they could to pad out that runtime, even if you know the cumulative footage from the first movie was only like 5 extra seconds. It was like, we gotta hit that hour 30 mark.
And then we had
Yeah,
like
right.
cable level commercials because we were watching this on fucking Peacock.
Fuck Peacock.
Free Peacock.
Yeah,
Worst.
because we're not going to pay for like the 80th streaming service.
Yeah. And also, they were really pushing the Boss Baby on us for some reason.
Is that all they've got? It's like Boss Baby and the Office.
It feels like it, man.
Peacock's
Because like
pretty sad,
fucking,
I guess.
we had a lot of Boss Baby ads. But anywho, yeah, Jaws 4. So
They even had ads when we paused the movie.
yeah,
We paused a couple times and it was like, oh, Capital One. Like,
it's the free version. So like,
I
not a
get
big
it
deal,
to an
but-
extent, but it starts to get where it's really just tacky.
No, yeah, I agree.
I almost would have preferred those stupid little overlays that like cable TV has, where like
Yeah, at the
some
bottom of the
sort of
screen.
ad will overtake the logo of the channel you're watching. I mean, I hate those too, but like at least that doesn't interrupt the runtime. I
forgot
But like
about
this
that.
was
I
an
just haven't-
hour and a half movie, and it took us like 2 hours.
Are you saying
Yeah.
Jaws 4 would be better if it had like a watermark of game fuel in the bottom corner the whole time?
If it had another like little mini Boss Baby ad. I think I would have honestly rather watched Boss Baby than this.
Really,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
I think I saw Boss Baby. I don't remember. It feels like a fever dream.
I mean, it's functional.
like-
It's a kid's movie.
It's kind of like B movie where it's become its own like anti-joke, and I think that's what it's being banked off at this point.
Yeah, they're just rolling into the skid.
Because no one's marketing Boss Baby with like, oh, this is like the next Monsters Inc. I guess it could be like on par with Cars 2 or something.
Well, what's the good thing about Jaws 4: The Revenge?
Hoagie.
Yeah, Hoagie.
The
that's it.
ideal of Hoagie.
That's all we got is Hoagie. Everything else sucks.
Man, yeah, I wasn't
well-
even considering a good thing.
There's one kind of cool thing, albeit I guess unrealistic. When he was getting away from the shark, when he's like hiding in that sunken ship, he like took off his oxygen tank and used it to like propel himself like out of the water. That was kind of cool, I guess.
Okay, yeah, I also just, I don't know, I can't remember if we talked about this earlier, but like, how did Michael Caine survive? Because we talked about how like there are like 2 fake out deaths at the end of the movie with Hoagie and Jake.
Jake gets straight up eaten.
Yeah, Jake is like in the shark's mouth, and it like bites his stomach. It's really unclear
Yeah,
how
and
the
he's
fuck he
just, like,
survived that.
Good. He's
He's
like,
just
oh,
fine.
I'm too mean to die.
Yeah,
Did you say that?
And
He said something like a lot. I'm paraphrasing. But he said something like that. He's like, I'm
God.
too mean to die, even though he's supposed to be like a fairly nice character.
yeah, and Jake is just his bro coworker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a dude.
No, yeah, but
It reminds me
Hoagie,
of Tito from Rocket Power.
Yeah, pretty
when
much.
Hoagie lands the plane in the water next to the boat, that the shark has already taken a nice big chunk out of, and it's not. I guess it's not a plane meant to land on water, so it starts sinking like right away. Because like they open the doors and the water starts pouring in, and the shark comes up to him, and there's a really funny shot where it's I guess the shark's point of view, and Michael Caine's like, "Oh shit," and then I guess he retreats into the plane to hide, and then the plane sinks.
I think that they were trying to bank off the whole idea of the shark is hardwired like a Terminator for the Brodies, so he's not gonna fuck with Michael Caine. And then he just shows back up on the boat like 5 seconds later.
I don't know. You'd think it would have.
I called it too. I was like, he's gonna fucking live, isn't he? Although by that point we'd already looked up that there were only 2 deaths in this fucking Jaws movie.
Yeah.
A movie about a killer shark, and it has like fewer deaths than what? I was about to say Office Space, but Office Space doesn't have a death. Well, now my joke is ruined.
Nailed it. Oh.
What's your good thing, Harlan?
This movie makes me revert evolutionarily.
Good thing.
I mean, we can reuse Hoagie. There's not much else to.
Yeah, I think it'll just have to be Hoagie. I really don't think I have anything else.
Would you give it out of 10?
4.
2.
It's so mind-numbingly boring. I'm just gonna give it a 3.
Yeah, 3 or 4 for me.
I kind of actively hated it. So
Yeah.
too.
I mean, I gave Aeon Flux a 4, but at least that had like it kept my attention with how stupid the action scenes were.
Yeah,
but
same.
this had like nothing.
This was
Yeah, it was just too few and far between.
2 or 3. I feel like I'm being generous.
You
with
know,
a 3.
like we said earlier, like they show the shark a lot, and that's true even for the middle of the movie. But it's just the shark swimming around. Like there's like the death at the beginning, death at the end of the movie, but then like in between that you do see the shark, but it's literally just the shark just vibing.
Or I guess they pad that out with the dream sequences where the characters get eaten by the sharks and wake up sweaty.
Right. Like really sweaty.
Well, the shark dreams that like he's eaten by the humans.
That would have been more interesting for me to look at.
Speaking of interesting, I know we got some interesting trivia here.
We do
right?
actually have quite a bit of good trivia.
That is really surprising.
Really?
For such a nothing of a movie.
Well, it's such an infamous movie. Like this is.
Yeah, I guess. But like,
I just don't even
widely
think
regarded.
there's enough going on for this to be infamous. I thought this would have been like a direct-to-video kind of thing.
It does.
Like
feel
I'm really
that.
surprised that it even has like the anti-following that it does, because it's not even there's not enough going on for it to be like to existing.
And yet,
Here we are talking about it.
what we got?
Okay, so one of the most well-known facts I've heard about this movie is that Michael Caine accepted his role after seeing only the first line of the script, which was "Fade in Hawaii."
He wanted a vacation.
Yeah, he said he'd wanted to shoot a movie in Hawaii for a while, and then I don't know where they actually shot, but
Wait, does it take place in Hawaii?
most of the movie takes place in the Bahamas.
But maybe they filmed it on Hawaii.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like the first scene is supposed to be with where the brother gets killed. So
Sure didn't look like Hawaii.
I mean, I didn't think so.
Where did the first movie take place? I don't even remember.
I don't even know, honestly.
Was that supposed to be Hawaii?
I kind of just anytime there's a beach in a movie, I default to it being Southern California.
Yeah,
no.
Like
It doesn't matter. It's fucking Jaws.
When Caine was asked about this movie in an interview, saying like, "Have you seen it? Can you believe how bad it is?" or something like that, he answered, "I have never seen it. Sorry, I have never seen it, but by all accounts, it is terrible. However, I have seen the house that it built, and it is terrific."
Fucking literal Caine. I like Michael Caine even more now.
Yeah, that's great. Roy Scheider was offered a cameo, but declined, stating, "Satan himself could not get me to do Jaws Part 4. Reportedly, if Scheider had accepted the bit part, the shark would have killed his character at the start of the movie. So I guess they swapped him out for his son.
Okay.
But yeah, he wanted nothing to do with it. The shark's infamous roar during the climax was actually comes from a Tom and Jerry cartoon called The Milky Waif. Reportedly,
Milkies.
Reportedly, this was actually done because the sound editor refused to make the original sound effect, thinking that the idea of a shark roaring was ridiculous.
So they were like, "Fuck you, get out of the chair," and then they just plugged this shit.
you fired.
Oh man. The website TV Tropes coined the term voodoo shark, which is defined as an attempt to explain away a plot hole that ends up falling flat. The reason for this is that the explanation is a plot hole in itself that only raises more questions. The name of the trope refers to a deleted plot point that was retained in the film's novelization. That's, Jaws 4's novelization. Sorry, I just need to emphasize, this was in the novelization of the film.
Okay.
Which explained that the shark's motivation being the result of a curse by a voodoo witch seeking revenge on the Brody family after a scuffle with Michael.
That's like the same shit that they cut out of Groundhog's Day.
Oh my god.
A voodoo
all
witch.
comes from a fucking shark movie! Why?
A voodoo witch.
See, that's what I'm saying, man. If they went full sail into that, I would have been totally down.
Shark eats kid and gets killed. Why are we throwing like supernatural magic
Dude,
shit
if it was
in
a
here?
zombie voodoo shark, that would have been awesome.
Why did this need 3 sequels? Not this. Why was this the culmination of the 3 sequels? Why did the first one, a good, fun little movie by itself that didn't need to be tampered with or fucked with, and it's been retroactively shat on by this?
Well, on that note, the writers of Jaws 4 had not seen Jaws 2 or Jaws 3, which is why there is
neither did
there's
I,
a bit of
so.
inconsistency in the plot in certain points, such as Mike's loving separation from Catherine and Sean's return from Colorado not being mentioned. So yeah, it had nothing to do with 2 and 3. They just didn't even see it. And
They Terminatored it.
yeah. So, last one. According to director Joseph Sargent, the film had gone through so many story pitches that once they were settled on the preposterous idea of the shark actually seeking revenge on the Brody family, they were just so burned out creatively that being given the go-ahead from Universal made everyone happy and excited. Everyone was aware of how ridiculous the concept was, but thought there was a fair chance of making it work for the screen.
Bring in the money.
That's what I'm saying, man. If you're going ridiculous, you got to commit to it.
I would love to hear their thought process for how that could work.
Let's see the Jaws 4 reunion special.
Yeah, I love when the whole story behind a movie is, fuck it, this'll do. God.
Gotta get that paycheck.
Know your worth, King. Turn that mindset into a grind set. All right.
I think that's all we got for Jaws the Revenge.
All I got.
Wes, what are we doing next week?
Oh, man. Well, we're going to keep up our summer series on the high seas.
Fuck.
We're going to sail across the world. You know why?
Why?
It's a Waterworld.
Piss water.
We're watching Waterworld. That's what we're watching.
Cool. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Kat.
Yeah.
Let's see.
My cat's here. She's
Oh,
been
yeah.
What's up,
surviving.
Cat?
See you next week for Waterworld.
See ya.
Bye.
We're all going to drink Kevin Costner's recycled piss water.
Yeah.
I need a second, okay? Why can't anybody give me a goddamn second?
Hold on. You dig on multiverses?
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! Out of my eyes! Ah!
That's it. What, we some kind of
B-roll boy.